This recording is the Christian religion, and this is section of the Christian religion. Okay, in this segment of this set of recordings, we're going to look at one of the last big events, and this is when Jesus gets lost, and his mom is frantic, and she finally finds him in the temple with all of these highly trained, Torah-trained lawyers and priests, and people that study the law of Moses, which we think of as religion, but it's also the law. Now, he's tripping them out with his knowledge base. Like, they are thinking, how is this 12-year-old kid knowing all of this stuff? How is this even possible? Like, they were blown away. As a matter of fact, that's why he got lost, because they continued to talk to him because they couldn't understand what was going on. How in the heck does this 12-year-old kid know all of this stuff about the Torah and about the laws? Now, these are the Mosaic laws we talked about in a few segments back. How is this even possible? They were asking this to themselves in their heads. How is this even possible that this kid knows all of this stuff at these levels? Here is trained men that spend bulks of their lives learning this stuff, and they're blown away by this 12-year-old kid. They're just blown away. They're so blown away that they're so caught up in this discussion and being blown away by this 12-year-old kid that Jesus' parents, his mom, Mary and Joseph, is freaking out because they think, oh my God, Jesus is lost. Oh my God, my kid's lost. I lost my kid. Oh, I lost my kid. So she's frantic trying to find the kid. She's doing everything she can to find the kid. We don't know how long she lost the kid, but it was a long time, enough for her to start freaking out. And finally, she tracks the kid down. Some witnesses say he went into the temple with these, and he's hanging out with these people, these lawyers and Torah people. So she goes in there, and they're in this deep discussion about the laws of God, and they're in this deep discussion about the Torah. They're in this deep discussion about the laws. They're in this deep discussion about God. They're in this deep discussion about all of this stuff that pertains to the 12 tribes and the law and all of that stuff, and Moses and the whole thing. They're in this deep discussion because these learned men, now these are highly degreed individuals. That's what we would think of them as today. Incredibly degreed people with massive PhDs behind their names. Very highly trained, lettered people. That's what we would know them as today. Practitioners of the law, practitioners of the religion, practitioners of here's law and order, here's the law, this is the basis of it. Let's look into it. That's who this group of people is. And they're tripping out on this kid. This is Jesus Christ. They're tripping out on him. Now, do you think for one second Mary cared, the mother of Jesus, do you think Mary cared that they were tripping out? No. She lost her kid. Okay? She lost her kid. She's frantic. My kid, where's my kid? Finally finds him, and imagine the relief and also the anger going on right there. Imagine the emotion of her. Does she care about all of this stuff? No, but is she complimented by the fact that these people are tripping out on her son? Of course. It's like, my son is a marvel. Welcome to the real world is probably what she's thinking. The whole Jewish culture is, especially back in the day. Just watch old movies from the people that imported is a bad word, but the people that came over to Brooklyn, watch some of those really old movies and the expressions and all of that stuff from the old country. It's like, wow, this stuff is it's a one-of-a-kind deal. So imagine the scene in your head, here's Mary, she's like frantic, mad, because how dare you, Jesus? And Jesus is just like, hey, this is what I'm doing. And I'm telling you the story like this because I want to hit you with one of the last poignant phrases he tells his mother that's recorded in the Bible, just before he sort of disappears off the face of the scene and doesn't show up again until he is a full-grown man, okay? Now, why does this happen? I have some suspicions, but let's finish looking at the story. Let me tell you the suspicion and make some other comments. Okay, so as the story plays out, the temple scene comes to an end. The discussion comes to an end because, hey, his mom comes and gets him. He's a little kid. What's he gonna do? I mean, he's a 12-year-old kid. What's he gonna do? So she takes him out of the place. She's mad. She's, giving him a ration. Well, what are you doing? What are you thinking? What's wrong with you? You're making me frantic. You're torturing me. You're my son. I love you. Blah, 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 blah. Imagine all that in Brooklyn Jewish kind of ideas, okay? And especially if you grew up in America, you know what I'm saying. It's classic stuff. So imagine all that. And then he says this one poignant thing. Hey, Mom, don't you know I must be about my Father's business? Wow. Jaw dropper. Like, holy criminy. Really? And what could you say? What could she say to that? Because don't forget, this is Mary. She's got her own thing going on. I mean, Angel shows up in her room, lights the whole place up. Next thing you know, she's knocked up. She's no stranger to this. Angel's warning them. Angel's helping them. I mean, she's no stranger to it. This is a bizarre situation. But for her, it's not a bizarre situation. For her, this is just her life. Okay? So, this is the kind of life she's in. So, she gets this. But what a thing to say. What a poignant thing to say. Very poignant to say. I must be about my Father's business. Now, I don't know what, the Hebrew version of that, but I can tell you the human version of that is like, gulp. You're going to say this to your mom and you're 12? Like, gulp. Like, what are you thinking, man? But he's thinking just the truth of the situation. So, in his mind, it has already begun. I must be about my Father's business. At that point, he just sort of gets written out of the Bible, and all it really says is something to the effect of, he grows in stature and favor with Yahweh, or with God, rather. That's all it says. And we don't see him again until he shows up later as a full-grown man. And that's when he starts doing all of his power. I mean, his miracles. In essence, he is able, not only is he able, but he is a master of affecting the molecules and the DNA around him. He is a master at affecting the paradigms around him. He is a master of taking jacked up people with jacked up lives and fixing them in no time at all. The Bible is loaded with this stuff. This is high level mysticism. I don't care how you want to couch it. I don't care if you are some kind of pastor that wants to couch it like, this isn't mysticism, this is Jesus. Well, Jesus and the earth also has a thing called mysticism. Wake up. Sorry to break it to you. Hope you took your meds today, because where we're going, and I'm addressing the pastors and all of the types that are the clergy types, because where we're going with this little perusing here is into the ideas of where he went for those years, because he disappeared for quite some time, about roughly 18 years, 17, 18 years. Now, this is not what I'm gonna tell you is not from the Bible. I first came across these ideas back in 1981. That was a long time ago. The longer I lived, the more they would pop up here and there, here and there, here and there. The History Channel even did a thing on it. So, a lot of people have seen this information I'm going to talk about. It's not really new. It's just that people in organized Christianity hate it. They just despise it. It's like, oh my God, that's a work of the devil. It's horrendous to think this horrible, evil stuff, because they're caught up in religio-politics. These are the same kind of people that give you, no, you can only do the Christian religion, and if you want to get to heaven, you can only do the Christian religion, because that's the only form of God on this whole planet. Think about that for a moment. I'm not even going to comment. Just think about that for a moment. Think of the idea of that for a moment. No, it's the only viable form of God on the whole entire planet Earth. Really? Seriously? Seriously. That's like the Catholic Church saying, nope, the Earth is the center of the universe. Everything revolves around the Earth. Really? You mean to tell me... And I'm being facetious. Yes, I am. I'm being a facetious knucklehead. But, because I'm drawing a point out here. So I'm being a facetious knucklehead. So, you're going to tell me, Mr. Catholic Pope guy, that the Earth is the center of the universe, and also torture people's lives for saying, no, it's not. You're going to tell me that out of the 100 billion galaxies, which they didn't know about in those days, by the way, in all fairness to them, but I love being facetious to them because it feels so right. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're going to tell me, Mr. Pope and Mr. Cardinals and Mr. Vatican and Mr. Roman Catholics and even Eastern Orthodoxy at this point, which kind of amazes me because they're much more sane about their take, that the Earth is the center of the universe and everything revolves around the Earth, and that there couldn't possibly be any life anywhere else in all of these 100 billion galaxies. Like Mr. Pope, do you know how big a galaxy actually is? Do you know that this little solar system is like one teeny tiny little particle part of an entire galaxy? Do you know how many other constellations are in a galaxy? Just one galaxy? Never mind 100 billion? What are the odds? Come on. Get real. So,